Okay, so this video is going to be a top 10 or top 11, if I guess you could say, a top 11 of the characters who have the longest counters. This is not the strongest counters, this is going to be who has the longest duration of a counter. It's like some characters might have a counter that lasts shorter amount of time than others, and so I put this video together to try and explain to you who and what characters have the strongest, or not the strongest, the longest counter. So here we go. At the number 11 spot, we have Sephiroth, who is a DLC character, which you could get for $5.99, I believe it was, and his counter is this called Selena, I think. It's something along those lines, and here's what it looks like. It automatically activates, and this is going to be the video on the counter window. So, the frames you have to hit the counter in order for it to activate is it's 14 frames active on frames 7 through 21. And so what this means is that you have 14 frames after using the counter for it to actually do the counter effect that is not the afterwards effect of this counter. So the counter starts on frame 7 of the activating part, and then it ends on frame 21. At the number 10 spot, we have Mii Brawler. And Mii Brawler has a counter that looks like this, where he kind of puts his arm up like he's about to block a punch or something. And his counter is active for a total of 17 frames, starting on frame 6 and ending on frame 23. At the number 9 spot, we have a four-way tie between Corrin, Bayonetta, Lucario, and Mii Swordfighter. Now, I can't show you their individual counters because that would take too long, but so I have gameplay of all four of these characters on screen right now. And so Corrin, so all of these have a total counter frame window of 19 frames, and Corrin starts on 7 and ends on 26. Bayonetta starts on frame 8 and ends on frame 27. Lucario starts on frame 5 and ends on frame 24. And Mii Swordfighter starts on frame 6 and ends on frame 25. At the number 8 spot, we have another four-way tie between Marth, Lucina, Roy, and Chrom. Now, these characters are all from the same game and are all pretty similar characters, so it doesn't really surprise me that these characters all have the same counter window. These characters all have a counter window of 21 frames. Marth and Lucina both have a starting, their counters start on frame 6 and end on frames 27, 6 to 27. And Roy and Chrom start on frame 8 and end on frame 29. In the number 7 spot, we have Little Mac. Now, Little Mac has a counter similar to Mii Brawler, where he kind of puts his fist up like he's blocking an attack. And Little Mac's counter is active for 22 frames, starting on frame 5 and ending on frame 27. At the number 6 spot, we have King K. Rool. King K. Rool's counter is kind of where he sticks out his belly, and it will kind of do kind of like a wind, like a pushback if you hit him. Now, to note, this counter will reflect and also counter. So if somebody shoots a projectile at you, you can counter it and it will send it back at them, or you can just counter regular moves. Now, King K. Rool's counter is active for 23 frames, starting on frame 5 and ending on frame 28. In the number 5 spot on this list, we have a two-way tie between Ike and Incineroar. So we'll start with Ike first. So Ike has a total of 24 frames in total to be basically countered. It starts on frame 9 and ends on frame 33, and it kind of has this counter like he's putting it over his arm and blocking a sword. So pretty simplistic. 24 frames and starts from 9 and ends on 33. Now Incineroar is a little different because his counter does like 2.5 damage when it hits. So basically what his counter does is it makes his attacks, like his next attack, do more damage. So his counters can stack 3 times, like 3 counters, like, hold up. Basically has like a window of like 3 moves absorbed, and then he can spit them back out, and it makes his normal attacks do a lot more damage. Now Incineroar has a total of 24 frames, just like Ike. Obviously that's why they're tied. And his starts on frame 3 and ends on frame 27. Now 27, or frame 3, that is the fastest counter in the game, starting on frame 3, so that's the fastest counter. And it ends on frame 27. In the number 4 spot, we have another two-way tie between Princess Peach and Princess Daisy. So now, these counters are basically the exact same. Oh, wait, if I back her up a little bit, like they're basically the exact same kind of move, and they have the same frames, that's why they're tied, and they also have the same like window and start and end frames. So now they kind of do this thing where they kind of stick out Toad, and it's like, get down, Mr. President. It's kind of what it looks like Peach hides and Toad kind of like, no, I will save you, and that's kind of what happens here. And they both have a total of 25 frames that they are active, and both of them start on frame 9 and they both end on frame 34. So top 3. So number 3 on this list is Greninja. Now Greninja kind of crosses his arms, and this counter has a total of 26 frames that is active, and it starts on frame 8 and ends on frame 34. So once again, that's what it looks like. Starts on frame 8, ends on frame 34, and has a total of 26 frames that it can be countered. So number 2 on this list is another two-way tie between Palutena and Joker. Now, I'm going to count Joker's counter as when he is in Arsene form, not this counter when he's in his normal form. That lasts a very long time. I'm counting the one where he's in his Arsene form and it's more of a counter instead of just kind of like an absorption kind of thing. And Palutena is just Palutena. So, Joker, or we'll start with Palutena. So Palutena and Joker, they both have a total of 27 frames, like frame window that they can counter. Palutena starts on frame 7 and ends on frame 34. Now Joker in his Arsene form counters like this, goes like a circle around him. This will also reflect. Same with Palutena, she also reflects projectiles. And Joker starts on frame 4 and ends on frame 31. Yeah, like I said, both of these also reflect. Now, the final character, the character with the longest counter, Shulk. Now, Shulk has a pretty decently sized jump from all the other characters. Most other characters in between ranks have like 1 extra frame of time, but Palutena and Joker had 27 frames that they could counter, and Shulk has 34 frames that he can counter. So Shulk and his Monado arts are pretty crazy, but he also has the longest counter in the game, starting on frame 7 and then ending on frame 41. Now, this is kind of crazy considering how like overpowered Shulk is sometimes. Shulk has the longest counter in the game. And yeah, so that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was quite a bit of fun making it. I had been looking on YouTube for a very long time to try and find a video of somebody who had the longest counter, and I never seemed to be able to figure it out. So I hope that this video helped you in some way that would help you, like, now you know. I mean, maybe it's not that important that you know, but still, now you just know an interesting fact that you can use basically whenever you want to. But yeah, hope you liked this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.